Friends, welcome to Juani's Garden. My name is Juani. So friends, today I am using my ground beef. Decided to make some meatballs and meatloaf. So super moist, rich, and simple recipe, friends. So for 2 pounds of ground beef, I've added quarter cup of sour cream, quarter cup of cottage cheese, and 2 tablespoons of caprese mix. This mix, friends, is super good. Let me show you the ingredients. Okay, if you can see, friends, salt, basil, oregano, chili peppers, tomato, carrot, and onion. So all just natural good stuff. So on the meatloaf, I'll put ketchup on top. That's the way my mom always made it, and it is so delicious. The meatballs, I'm going to make them the way my grandmother used to make them, so I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, friends, so let's go ahead and continue with my grandmother's recipe for the meatballs. So a lot of recipes that I've seen and tried myself usually require that you roast or put your meatballs on the pan, kind of pan fry a little. This recipe is not like that. So here are my ingredients. I have cilantro, and this one looks a little wet because it was in the freezer, and I keep cilantro in the freezer because I really like it. I didn't have enough fresh celery, so I have some dehydrated celery from my garden mixed with that. I have dehydrated bell peppers from my garden also. These are Anaheim peppers. This right here is the caprese mix right there. Here, Society garlic that I have from my garden, also dehydrated. I have some, these are canned tomatoes. Of course, I prefer to use fresh, but I don't have any fresh right now. And then we have a wedge of Parmesan cheese. We have some Napa cabbage and some carrots. So let's go ahead, friends, and start with the celery. We have a little bit of avocado oil. Not too much because, friends, remember that on this meat I put cottage cheese and sour cream. So I don't need too much grease. This is just to do a little saute. There goes the Society garlic. There goes my bell peppers from the garden. There goes the caprese. Anaheim peppers. And friends, I would say as far as the quantities, use what you have. I didn't have a lot of the Anaheim peppers. It's probably the equivalent of maybe a quarter cup. Cilantro, it's another maybe quarter cup. And then we're going to, friends, just stir. Friends, it's already starting to smell so good in here. Okay, now to this, friends, we're adding our cabbage and our carrot. You could say it's a cabbage soup with meatballs. It's Friday, friends. Looking forward to the weekend, so that's why I'm making 2 meals today. I have the meatloaf in the oven. I've got these meatballs about ready to start cooking. And then, friends, now we're going to add the tomatoes. This is about a cup of tomatoes. And I do like, friends, whole tomatoes. You see that? And when I serve my meatball soup, I like to serve a whole tomato right on the soup. So we're going to raise the heat a little bit because with all these ingredients, I need higher heat. Okay, and then also, friends, one thing that my grandmother taught me, my mother too, that when you're making a soup, if you have your water already heated, like I'm doing over here, you see I've got water, it's about ready to boil. then it'll make it easier and faster for your soup to get going. So we're not going to add the meatballs until the water is in here. It's a soup, friends. See, with the higher heat, it's starting to cook down. And this Napa cabbage cooks a little bit faster and it's gentler than regular cabbage. So that's why I like this, friends, the Napa. Okay, let's move over here. Let's get this water. I'm gonna turn off the heat. Get a pot holder here. And let's pour this water into our veggie mix. Okay, you don't need a lot of water because you want it to be hearty and flavorful. Sometimes if you put too much water, I'm not using a chicken broth, just water. You don't want it to dilute. But I put, friends, enough spices in here so that it's going to be very, very flavorful. Okay, now, friends, this is where we're going to take the meatballs and we're going to drop them in there. The taste is definitely different. Since I grew up eating it like this, I really, really like it. Rather than browning the meat first and then putting it into the soup, I like it like this much better, friends. So, what do you think, friends? We're going to come back in just a little bit. Okay, friends, so now we're going to go ahead and add this big piece of Parmesan cheese. It's just going to go in there like that. The meatball soup is starting to boil. It's going to take a few minutes to cook, maybe 15. So we're going to pause and come back. Okay, friends, so while the meatballs are cooking and the meatloaf is in the oven, I am making a version of a coleslaw. So growing up, we always ate the cabbage, pineapple, whipped cream, and coleslaw. Super yummy and delicious, very sweet. But over the years, I have come across other versions of coleslaw. This one here is Napa cabbage. It's apples. And it's fresh ginger sliced with the potato peeler. It's easy to pick up slices like that. Now, this recipe, friends, it's made with, it's 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. So we're going to pour this in here. And then, friends, we're doing 1/3 cup of organic Florida crystals. So it is going to be sweet, but it's a different kind of sweet. It's not going to be creamy at all. So what we do, friends, we're just going to mix everything here. And because it does have the apple cider vinegar, this is going to last for a few days. And as it sits in the fridge, friends, the flavors intensify a little bit. So super delicious. There you have it, friends. My delicious cabbage coleslaw. Okay, friends, so here is the finished product. We've got the meatball soup. It smells so good, friends. It just smells so, so good. And I tasted it. It tastes delicious. I have my meatloaf, fresh out of the oven, and my Napa cabbage coleslaw with apples and fresh ginger. So I'm going to go ahead and plate a little bit of the meatball soup so you can have an idea. Friends, it's got cabbage, bell peppers, Anaheim peppers, cilantro. It's got carrots, society garlic. So friends, thanks so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. See you again soon.